How you doing today, family and friends? I go by the name Ace1, represent 352. If you know me as an artist, you already know the saying, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, um, I just been having a couple of things that been sitting near and dear on my heart, and I'm just kind of following what my heart's telling me to do. Now, with all that being said, allow me to reintroduce myself. I go by Ace1, and this show is called Don't Shoot Me, I'm Just a Messenger. And you guys are going to be the first people to see this video. So I hope you enjoy. I hope it's educational. I like to give information. Hopefully I can open up a few eyes and, just get some of you guys to, do a little bit of research. Um, Again, don't shoot me, I'm just a messenger. So, you already know what it is. It's much love, straight from the heart. And that's how it's always going to be with every message and every delivery I give. Always much love, straight from the heart. So there's been certain events that's happened in our present and happened in our past, and certain events that are being spoken about that are supposedly going to happen in our future. So what I tend to go through at times is there'll be certain subjects that just kind of stand out to me, and it makes me want to dig into the subject, and figure out more about the origins, the understanding, so I can have more peace of mind, especially when it comes to going forward in life, because I'm one of them people who always feel like they need to be really prepared for what's about to happen, or kind of have an understanding of why things are happening in the way that they happen. So, like for me, I'll see certain things like Christianity, or purposes for certain wars, or political driven things, and it makes me look more into it, more or less. So things like Christianity, for instance, like today I'm going to be talking about Thoth and the Emerald Tablets. And as I, just give you a introduction to who Thoth is, it may help you understand the origins of certain religions. So, and so that's like one of the things that tend to catch my attention, and just understanding the origins, because again, I believe the more we know, the less we can be fooled, and the more we know, the better prepared we are for what we're about to receive. And we also know how to deal with people who like to give you their take on certain things without actual facts, and they just go off of like their feelings. And you have to be able to decipher what are facts and what are feelings. Some people just speak naturally based on what their interpretation of certain things are. And for me, I started understanding that my interpretation is just like my opinion. So it's better to kind of give context and historical events or something research-wise in order to make your opinion turn into your fact, or a fact, more or less. So, I say all that just to kind of give you guys an understanding of what subjects I might be touching on. Um, and again, it goes from a wide range um, of issues to historical events to alien encounters, things like, I mean, you name it. I have specific stories that are only near and dear to me that I've actually experienced. So um, I'm just giving you my version and my interpretation of the world, all while giving you facts about things that happened in the past and things that have happened in our present, and also things that are being spoken of to have happen in the future. Let me rephrase that. Now, in this video, we're going to be speaking about Thoth and the Emerald Tablets, written by M. Doreal. The Emerald Tablets of Thoth the Atlantean. So, who is Thoth? Thoth the Atlantean is a priest/king who ruled from 50,000 BC to 36,000 BC. He ruled for 16,000 years. Thoth founded a colony after the sinking of the mother country in ancient Egypt. The tablets were wrote by Thoth. So, pretty much, Thoth was pretty much the god or the high priest, as you've seen, or the king, as some may say. And he ended up writing these tablets. So, Thoth was the great builder of Giza. So, he also was immortal. He had conquered death, passing only when he willed. And even then he would pass, as in pass away. He didn't die. He would like literally just go back into consciousness and then come back when he decided to, more or less. And that's a spiritual journey that a lot of us, or all of us, are going through. But you won't know that until you're ready to sit down and really do some education, or really do some research, and gain some education. But yeah, let me get back to the story. So he ruled the Atlanteans colonies, even the ones in South and Central America. Like the Great Pyramids, like they had I'm not sure if they said the Inca were the ones who built the pyramids in Mexico. And he was the leader over that colony that built them pyramids in Mexico. So he also erected the Great Pyramid over the entrance of the Great Hill of Immentis. So once you look into who Thoth is and his origins, might I say, you'll realize he was a very, very powerful being, and he was a very, very intelligent being who was able to erect things in only a way that he could. And there were others like him who had the power to wield things with mere thought. But that should give you an understanding of the significance and the power of Thoth. He incarnated 3 times. The third time was through Hermes, the thrice born. I said thrice. And that's where he wrote the Emerald Tablets. And these tablets are left in the custody of the pyramid priest. Right? So Thoth has been resurrected, or incarnated 3 times. Now the third time was through Hermes. Now, and Hermes and thrice, I think, are I think they're similar as in 3, if I'm not mistaken. Um, he was also called Hermes the thrice born, which is, I think, mean he's the one who was born 3 times. And that's where he wrote the Emerald Tablets as Hermes. And these tablets are left in the custody of the pyramid priest, just to get a little bit more clarification. All right, there are 10 tablets, and they are separated into 13 for the sake of convenience. So they basically broke 10 tablets up into 13 pieces. And I think that is purposely done to kind of preserve the originality of it, because I believe if one man had control of all 13, if his heart wasn't pure and his mind wasn't set in the right direction that he needs to go, there will be things that he would probably do with that type of information that could just potentially allow him or her to do evil things to this world and manipulate it in such a manner that we just wouldn't want to experience nonetheless. So for the convenience of the sake of our people, it'd be smart to separate them. And that's what I think they done in that part. Alright, but the last 2 of the 10 tablets are so great and significant that it is forbidden to present them to the world right now, which is my point. If the wrong person had all 13 pieces of the Emerald Tablet, and then they would gain knowledge that could be that is potentially harmful to the existence of man today, which would destroy our reality or how we see things, more or less. So I think that's exactly the point. Right. So in the 10th century, the Mayans had settled in the Yucatan, and the tablets were placed under one of the great pyramids of the sun god. After the defeat of the Mayans by the Spaniards, the cities were abandoned and the treasures of the temple forgotten. So there obviously was a war. Around the time that Thoth was the ruler in the Yucatan. And apparently, due to this fight and war with the Spaniards, it ended up becoming abandoned, the city that they were in. And the treasures of the temple were forgotten, which means that they were either still hidden and nobody even went to go back and pull them out, or they just got buried up under all the rubble, if it was that kind of war. But yeah, so I wanted to say, now you must understand that the Great Pyramid of Egypt is and has been a place where very important religious leaders like Jesus, Solomon, and others were initiated. How did it happen to come to light? Well, around 1300 BC, Egypt, the ancient kingdom, was in turmoil, and many types of priests were sent to other parts of the world. Some of them were the priests of the pyramids, who possessed the tablets as a talisman to show their superiority over the races descended from other Atlantean colonies. So there were certain pyramid priests who were given these tablets, and they would use these tablets to show their superiority over the other races descended from other Atlantean colonies, which meant that there were different colonies in this Atlantean colony, more or less. See, that should give you a mindset that there were more than just one race in particular. So you got to pay attention to stuff like that. um, and he was also granted permission to translate and retain a copy of the wisdom engraved on the tablet. This was done in 1925. So, so this person who wrote this book, more or less, has a connection with the Great White Lodge, which also works through the pyramid priesthood. So he was instructed to recover and return the Great Pyramids to the ancient tablets, or bring the ancient tablets back to the Great Pyramids, right? Which is what I should have said. But you know, this is Ace One, and I hope you got a little bit of education. You know, trying to do a little bit of something here. I'd probably be doing something like once a week, giving you just some random knowledge. The reason I feel like the Emerald tablets are important is because I think it's very important because we follow religions that are originated from things of such that I'm speaking about. And that's why I think it's only fair to go and look up the Emerald tablets if you believe in the Ten Commandments. If you believe in things of the Bible, then I think it's only fair for you to go and look up the origins. Because if I'm sitting here telling you that the tablets or the Ten Commandments is a story that's derived from Thoth and the Emerald tablets, wouldn't that make you want to go and do some research on that? Because I think anything that predates something that represents it, more or less, like if, you know, I showed you a book on how to make soda, and it's a newer version, but everything, all the information inside of it can be found in the older version, and the older version will let you know how to originally make soda versus the new way to make soda, if you get what I'm saying. So you would go back to the it's hot out here in Florida, y'all already know, bear with me. But so you would go back to the original to know how it was originally made, and maybe you can decipher what was good or bad about it, and maybe it was better then, or maybe it was worse then, but you still know the origins. And then you can understand what, like, you know, the origins, period. Sometimes they're giving us certain doctrine right now, and we're taking it in good faith, but in reality, the origins were with evil intent. And you wouldn't know that unless you went and done your research. So, yeah. I think that's pretty much it. I just wanted to come out here and give you guys a little bit of education, you know. Don't shoot me. I'm just a messenger. Peace out.